I'm Edie Lash, and I'm here in the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos with Slava Ruben, the CEO, founder of IndieGoGo. Thanks very much for coming along.
Thanks for having me.
So, tell me what you're up to at IndieGoGo.
Yeah, so IndieGoGo is the world's funding platform. So since we launched in January 2008, we now distribute millions of dollars every week around the world. So anybody can raise money for absolutely any idea.
Tell me about what you're doing in health. I hear there's some interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, so I mean, IndieGoGo is open to absolutely any idea, anything creative, anything entrepreneurial, or anything cause. And here at Davos, a lot of people are interested in moving big ideas forward, like global health. So I was actually invited to a breakfast with Bill Gates to be able to understand with the Gavi Foundation how they're able to move things forward. So we were discussing just some of the case studies.
So tell me about some of the case studies. Tell me what people have funded on IndieGoGo.
Yeah, so we actually had the Scanadu Scout, the first ever medical tricorder, which is actually like a doctor in your pocket. So they were able to raise $100,000. They wanted to raise $100,000 on IndieGoGo, but ended up raising 1.7 million from 110 countries. And one that actually Bill Gates personally tweeted out himself from was actually called the Kite Patch, which is this really cool technology which stops mosquitoes from being able to smell for bites. So it really helps for malaria purposes. So they wanted to raise like 50,000, ended up raising like 550,000 from 59 countries.
So you can actually basically change the world through crowdfunding. Is that what you're trying to do?
Well, usually a lot of industries have constraints based on centralized decision making. But if you can empower the nodes to be able to get around all the distribution and capacity constraints, you can actually, yes, change the world.
So is it just giving money, or is there some idea when you can have equity in a company now as well?
Yeah, there's 4 reasons why anybody funds anything in life, not just on IndieGoGo. So number 1 is because they care about the person or the cause. We often call that passion. That's often thought of as a donation. Number 2 is they get like the shoes that you paid for, so they'll get a product. So we call that perks. Number 3, they want to be part of something like a movement, so we call that participation. And number 4 is they want to give $1 and get $5 back, so that's profit.
Right.
So the first 3 happen very dynamically on IndieGoGo right now, but because of the Securities Act laws from 1933 in the US, number 4 has not been viable until President Obama just signed the Jobs Act a year and a half ago.
And then what? So now what? How much equity could you offer in a company on IndieGoGo?
This is all has to be finalized by the SEC, and also the government is locking it down. So this is called Title III if you want to get into messy details, but probably you'll be able to raise up to $1 million at a time. So that's the limit right now because they want to kind of hedge in terms of any risks.
Okay, last question. Tell me about the crowdfunded baby.
Yeah, so we had the first ever crowdfunded baby, which is an amazing story. So a couple was actually turned down by all the insurance companies and hospitals because even though they were only in their late 20s, their probability of having a baby was too low. So it was a really sad story. So they actually put up their personal story on IndieGoGo. And it was amazing that mostly strangers funded the actual IVF. So not only did they get the IVF funded, they had the IVF, they got pregnant, and they had the baby. And no, they don't call it IndieGoGo, but it's pretty cool.
I have sort of chills after that one. That's amazing. Slava, thank you so much for stopping into the Hub Culture Pavilion, and I'm Edie Lash.